Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sabrina Kofer, and on behalf of Choice and ACRL, I'd like to welcome you to today's program, Making the Shift from Physical to Electronic Resources Quickly and Affordably, which is sponsored by ProQuest. Today's discussion is one in a series of sponsored webinars from Choice and ACRL that addresses new ideas and developments of interest to the academic library community. Please note that if you're interested in today's topic, we have an upcoming webinar on December 7th, Cutting Edge Solutions Moving Libraries Forward in the Digital Age, which is also sponsored by ProQuest and Ex Libris. You can register for that program on Choice's website. Okay, so before we get started, I'd like to point out just a few features of the webinar software. All of the attendees who join the presentation are automatically muted and your cameras are off, so don't worry about generating any noise or feedback. We've got that taken care of. In the main area of the screen, you can follow along with the presentation materials. We'll be using the Q&A feature today. Please use it to ask questions of our presenters. We do expect many questions, and we likely will not have time to get to all of them, so we apologize in advance for that. With that being said, we'll answer as many questions as we have time for at the end of the presentation, so please do type your questions into the Q&A module as they occur to you. Also note that there is closed captioning available for today's session. To toggle the automated captions on or off, please use the CC button in the bottom right corner of your screen. Also note that we are recording today's program, and everyone who registered should receive a follow-up email with a link to the archive version. And with that, we are ready to get started, so I'll pass things over to Joanna.
Awesome. Thank you, Sabrina. Next slide, please. Hi, everyone. So for those that don't know me, I am Joanna Keel. I'm the Product Marketing Manager for ProQuest eBooks at Ebook Central. And here at ProQuest, we've seen the demand for e-resources grow dramatically, especially in these past 2 years. With remote and hybrid teaching and the need to reclaim library space, access to digital content continues to be more urgent and essential than ever. Faculty are increasingly relying on electronic resources of books, historical and current periodicals, newspapers, streaming videos, digital music scores, and resource sharing to enhance learning and support research. Our guest speaker today is Courtney Fuson, Asset Manager Librarian at Belmont University since 2019. Prior to that, Courtney was Belmont's Electronic Resources Librarian for more than 10 years. During that time, there was a shift in the library's collection strategy to prioritize ebooks, which prompted their use of ProQuest title matching fast service. Next slide. So let's take a look at the agenda today. First, Courtney will share her experiences working with ProQuest to provide more e-resources on a limited budget using title matching. Then I will talk about the growing e-resource needs that has led us to expand our eNow program and how title matching fast is delivering value to libraries. I'll finish with an overview of how we can support libraries with an evolving e-resource needs with additional unique e-content and resource sharing. Next slide. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce Courtney.
Hi, everybody. So as Joanna said, I'm Courtney Fuson. I am the Asset Management Librarian at Belmont University at the Lila D. Bunch Library. Belmont University is a private Christian liberal arts institution in Nashville, Tennessee. We have a student body of approximately 8,700 undergraduate and graduate students, and the library has 16 library faculty and staff and a small army of student workers. I do serve as both the Asset Management Librarian and the e-resources librarian, so I manage both our print and electronic collections. I have 2 staff who help me with invoicing, with managing serials and standing orders, and with firm order purchasing specifically. My area also works closely with Access Services to manage the library's physical collection. And there are 3 staff in that area, and they manage our small army of about 30 student workers, without whom the library absolutely would not function. So today, I'm going to give you a little overview of sort of where the library has been and then talk about also what we have done with Title Match Fast. Bunch Library has experienced a lot of changes in the last few years, including in 2016, we got a new library director and went live with Alma almost simultaneously. This was also our first mention of Title Match Fast from ProQuest. We were not in a spot to take advantage of Title Match Fast at that time, but that was our first hearing about it from ProQuest, and we were interested in it. In 2017, we set up a goal to weed the physical collection in order to free up space in the library. And our library basement was also converted to closed stacks. So the deselection lists that we used, that we created as part of our beginning of our weeding process, were used to determine which books were moved from closed stacks to open stacks and vice versa. The library basement housed approximately 75,000 books in call number ranges A through F when it was closed. So we did need to rearrange books to allow students and faculty to still have access. In 2018, Belmont announced the acquisition of a local college called O'Moore College of Design, including their library. Their library had about 6,000 books, and we added about half of those to our collection. We're actually still in the process of working through some of those. And then in 2019, we used our very first title match fast list to facilitate an end of the year purchase of approximately 67 books in one LC class. This decision was made based on end of year funds available to purchase an entire list. Our director wanted to purchase the whole list so that we didn't have to try to prioritize based on circulation numbers and that sort of thing on such a tight deadline. Our fiscal year does end in May, so we had only a couple of weeks to do this. The title match fast list was actually initially run in April, and then I compared the titles on it to the titles on the keep list that we had created as part of our deselection process. So converting print to electronic had the goal of freeing up what we were quickly learning was very precious shelf space. We were able to get title match fast lists quickly from ProQuest, in part because we're an Alma institution, and so we simply gave them permission to get the data pulled straight out of Alma, and we did not have to create lists of ISBNs and other information to send to them. In addition to comparing the title match fast lists to our deselection lists, the title match fast list also let us know which titles were included in our subscription to Academic Complete, so that we didn't have to worry about purchasing those either. In June of 2019, the library began a renovation process where we moved, pulled, and compressed books to try to stay ahead of the carpet installers. We moved and rearranged every single book on in the library at in that summer. So this looked a little bit like this. Summer of 2019 was surrounded by large, very heavy wooden book carts and painters and carpet installers and folks who helped us move things around a bit. So in November of 2017, the library looked like this. This is the main floor of the library. And then during our renovations in June of 2019, you can see we got new carpet, some new furniture. We cleared everything out. And then in August of 2019, we had replaced shelves and the books on the shelves and all of that. So this was yet another process that showed us that our shelf space was becoming increasingly precious, and led us to 2020, where Belmont announced the acquisition of another local art college called Watkins College of Art. Their library included approximately 18,000 items, and we are still in the process of adding about 6,800 of those items to our collection. As part of the Watkins acquisition process, we started requesting compact shelving in various areas to help alleviate some of the space issues we started encountering. And then, of course, in March of 2020, COVID-19 hit. Spring break was extended and the campus closed for the spring semester. Most of us went to largely work from home starting in mid-March. The library closed to the public and to students for the spring semester, and we remained closed to the public until August of 2021. As Joanna mentioned earlier, the library has been doing e-preferred purchasing for quite a while, and that put us into a pretty good position for going to online learning and supporting online learning at our university. Print purchasing was placed on hold at that time, and we definitely continued our e-preferred purchasing model there. Belmont has not traditionally had a strong online learning program, but that is changing. So we are going to continue to see a focus on our e-preferred purchasing to support a growing number of hybrid programs that we've seen. So in June of 2020, we were still closed to the public, but we used title match fast lists to pull 550 books from the shelves. These were books that we didn't purchase at that time, but they are books that we had already purchased either through our Academic Complete subscription or purchased previously from ProQuest that we just had not pulled off the shelves prior. We did double check those books to make sure that the ebook was the same edition and the same book as the print book before we discarded the print book. And actually, these two carts behind me are the remains of that project. We still have some things to check there. Fall of 2020 semester was compressed and hybrid due to COVID-19, much like the spring. And our library faculty and staff returned to campus in June of 2020. So in December, we requested a title match fast list from ProQuest to show the cost of converting everything that we could from print to electronic. And the total number of books was about 4,000 books that were available electronically. The total cost was about $60,000. And my director used this information as part of her budget request process. Unfortunately, we were not able to convert our entire print, those 4,000 books from print to electronic at that time. So in March of 2021, we installed compact shelving in half of the basement. The basement still holds 75,000 books, but only in half of the physical footprint. The other half was renovated into offices for the university's IT group. And the library does answer to the Chief Information Officer and is part of the Library and Information Technology Services area. So this helped move them into our building. So the CIO is located in our basement now, actually. In May of 2021, we did another end of year funds purchase and purchased 232 books. We purchased all of the complete lists that we could with all of the funds available. As I mentioned earlier, our fiscal year does end in May. It ends on May 31st. ProQuest was amazing at this point because we requested these purchases, I want to say about 2 weeks before the end of our fiscal year, and they were able to update our pricing and also get our invoices to us by the deadlines that we had. So we were super happy with that whole process. Bethany was amazing. She's our ebook rep. In June of 2021, we got a new university president. So yet more changes happening at Belmont University. And then we are currently in the process now in fall of 2021 of installing compact shelving on the first floor of the library. This is to hold about 30,000 books. And we are hopeful that it will help us to add all of the remaining books from the Watkins acquisition to our library. We're hoping to get compact shelving elsewhere, but right now we're not structurally able to do so because of the way our building was built. So going forward, we do hope to continue to use title match fast lists to chip away at our print to electronic conversion process. Title match fast is often one of our first choices for end of the year purchases when we discover that we do have some money left for firm orders. We are also hoping to use HathiTrust information to pull books that are available electronically off of the shelves. We'll use those lists that we're getting from OCLC's Green Glass product to pull books, and there are about 10,000 matches in our collection right now. And then we are also going to finish up the deselection process for all of our remaining LC classes, of which we have about 6 or 7 classes remaining. So that's our future plans, and they do involve title match fast and some other means of converting our collection. So I will turn it back over to Joanna.
Thanks, Courtney. I am seeing some questions in the Q&A too, which keep them coming. Courtney and I are going to get to all those questions at the end. So I just wanted to make that note before I shared my portion. So I see some good ones coming in. Next slide, please. So when it comes to books, title matching is really not a new concept. ProQuest's unique capabilities in digitization, data, and reporting, together with our software and content solutions, have enabled us to create a comprehensive set of programs that help institutions quickly adapt to remote and hybrid environments. Very similar to what Courtney had mentioned with her experience. Our expert team of, believe it or not, actual human beings do this work with libraries to prioritize the conversion of print to electronic content by using our complementary service, which is called Title Matching Fast, or sometimes TMF. This process maps a library's physical books, ISBNs, to electronic versions in ProQuest digital archive, spanning more than 600 terabytes and 1.8 million ebooks. All we need is a list of libraries' ISBNs, or if you're an Alma customer, permission to access your holdings. From there, our title matching process can do the work of finding electronic versions of print titles in your library's holdings. The report will also highlight which ebooks can be purchased. The report also lists out prices across all the access models available, like 1 user, 3 user, nonlinear, and unlimited access. Plus, it identifies any available discounts, including our 50% off P2E offer, which helps save precious time and resources. Our title matching report can also identify ebooks with awards from Choice Outstanding Academic Titles, Resources for College Library, or RCL, Duty's Core Titles, and Ebook Central's highest usage. It also highlights coverage of topics like DEI. When you get your title matching report, all you have to do is make the selections that's right for your library, and it's as easy as that, similar to what Courtney had mentioned when she was purchasing in those specific LC classes. Next slide, please. So let's talk about COVID, and let's take a look at how COVID really sparked some change. The first one being frequency. Before COVID, most print to electronic conversions were used for traditional projects like weeding and space reclamation, or even after events like floods or other natural disasters. They're mostly one and done type of events. Then enter COVID. COVID really kicked off the need for e-resources quickly, and libraries started doing way more than just one title matching report. Nowadays, libraries are doing several title matching services a year as a way to select and purchase high demand e-content very quickly. Libraries are actually doing so many title matching reports, it's becoming part of the workflow. When a high volume of ebooks are needed, even small, like I think Courtney's first list was 67 titles and her second one was over 200. Title matching is being used for a huge variety of list size. There's also one thing that COVID taught us, which is how to be efficient with what we have. Our title matching reports are free, and it helps you take a look at your holdings and make decisions really quickly. Could you do this on your own? Probably. If you had an infinite number of hours, a computer that won't crash when you're looking at millions of records of data, and you have an ample amount of staff time to burn. What we do is really help save you this time, and we make the data actionable, helping you to collaborate and make those important decisions on your own. Next slide. So Title Matching Fast is a free service, and it is helping libraries. And here's just a few use cases where libraries are finding values. First, title matching is supporting faculty, courses, and course management by getting ebooks for course materials and reading lists. No matter the list size, 50 titles, 500 titles, 5,000 titles, it doesn't matter. We can help you match the title in E and quickly identify the access model available for each title and see how much it costs, as well as indicate whether it's DRM-free content. Curriculum analysis. This is one of the most popular ways title matching is being used. By sending us all of your holdings or just some, we can do a gap analysis to help you build in subject areas that you may have less e-materials. Curriculum analysis helps ensure your ebook collection is adequate for your curriculum today and beyond. When purchasing a high volume of ebooks is simply out of reach for your budget, we've actually seen libraries use this data to validate decisions to subscribe to Academic Complete and ProQuest's new DEI ebook subscription. Many of you know our flagship ebook subscription, Academic Complete. It has over 210,000 scholarly vetted titles. Our newest ebook subscription is the DEI ebook subscription that complements Academic Complete. This DEI subscription is developed to represent all voices, regardless of gender, race, sexual orientation, and religious belief. It greatly supports teaching and learning beyond the classroom. Subscription is the cheapest route when multi-user unlimited access is needed, and you can build your collection strategically with an access-based model where your institution will receive a very large set of content at an affordable price point. Next slide, please. So continuing, traditional PDE projects remain a high value to libraries, and the more data you send us, the more information you'll receive to help you make these selections. For example, if interlibrary loans were a popular way to meet the demands of your patrons, a title matching report may be able to help. By sharing your ILL, ISBNs, and usage data, we can quickly identify what titles are available, and the ILL usage can help you determine what content is in high demand. By sharing your holdings usage, including ILL, the report can help you make purchases based on evidence. Evidence that the title was used in print, so it's likely to be used as E. Getting that helps you make choices of what's best for your budget, and it gives you a peace of mind knowing that your materials will be used. Another trend that's helping libraries stretch their budgets is adding titles matched to DDA programs. That way, you make titles available at your institution, but only purchase a title if the usage occurs. And finally, space reclamation. I think it goes without saying, PDE conversions are still being used to free up libraries, or still being used to free up space in libraries. And this still remains a very huge popular tool in assisting in library space rec projects. Next slide. A new feature that you'll see in title matching reports in 2021 out of ProQuest is for Rialto and Oasis customers only. We are now matching ebooks available on PubDirect, and this feature now offers you more choice and flexibility at a time when you need it most. Next slide, please. When you do a title matching report, you're matching to the powerhouse of content inside Ebook Central. So it matches to over 1.8 million ebooks curated by ProQuest trusted in-house librarians, whose goal is to ensure the collection is made up of content most likely to be used by patrons because it's scholarly and aligned to graduation trends and growth patterns. Our expertise as the aggregator helps you find that cross-disciplinary content in key subject areas from thousands of different publishers without the hassle of searching for it yourself. You can also purchase DRM-free titles in LibCentral, and they're very easy to find. Next slide. And finally, this slide really speaks for itself. Here's a list of publishers that are participating in the 50% off PDE program. If you'd like a copy of this list, or if you'd like to request a title list for one or more of these publishers, please reach out to me and I'm happy to send that to you. And as a reminder, any titles in your title matching report from these publishers, they'll indicate that they're promo eligible, ensuring that you get the discounted price on Ebook Central. Next slide. And one more, please. So let's do an overview. eNow helps us meet the demands for e-resources across books, government documents, music scores, research sharing and interlibrary loan, historical periodicals, archive materials, streaming video, and space-saving projects. Let's take a quick peek into each. Next slide. Historical periodicals. Physical archives take up a lot of in-demand space. To fulfill the evolving needs of library users, digitized collections not only preserve the quality of fragile materials and free up space, but they're often more comprehensive, spanning the entirety of a title's run, from the first issue to the last published. Next slide. As our eNow program has expanded to include other primary source content types, newspapers are a great starting point for all levels of researchers. The value of news goes beyond subjects, geographical territories, and has proven to be an in-demand asset for both teaching and research. Also, governments tend to study all topics, and this holds true for US and UK governments, where we have a variety of content collections going back to 1688 for Parley papers and 1789 for US government. Next slide. ProQuest Classical Scores Library has the largest digital collection of in-copyright scores across a spectrum of time periods and composers sourced from reputable publishers. Classical Scores Library supports music research across genres and time periods in a single interface optimized for online teaching and learning. All scores can be printed, annotated, and easily shared in learning management systems. Whether they're focused on conducting and performance, theory, composition, or music history, music students and faculty need access to a wide range of scores. Next slide. Streaming video is an essential and powerful tool enabling students to absorb complex concepts while providing a springboard for important conversations. Academic Video Online provides unlimited access to over 70,000 streaming videos from anthropology to zoology. Its subscription model also includes built by choice perpetual rights, a free media hosting service, on-demand audio description program, a wealth of DEI content, and so much more. At 2 times the amount of content available from any other provider, our affordable pricing and ability to own content provides a high ROI for our libraries. Next slide. As we're coming to the Q&A portion of our webinar, we've talked about the transition to E, where it goes without saying that patrons are expecting more out of your library. They desire more access to a variety of resources, expect faster service and more efficient tools, while you manage costs to try to meet their needs. Over the past year, the concept of community borrowing and lending has taken a more prominent role and has become part of more discussions. Many more libraries are examining it to expand collection coverage across a variety of resource types, especially during budget-conscious times. We've seen this interest and witnessed substantial growth in rapid ILL, now with more than 500 libraries worldwide using its technology to help each other be more faster, more efficient, and more cost effective. It's our hope that emerging services like Rapid ILL and next generation of resource sharing, Rapido, will help you fill gaps or fulfill your patrons' content needs. Be sure to sign up for the ACRL webinar on December 7th to learn more. Next slide. And with that, we'll open it up to questions.
Okay, thank you so much to Joanna and Courtney. This is Sabrina from Choice and ACRL. We have a couple questions coming in through the Q&A, but I'd encourage everyone to submit questions. We have plenty of time to answer them. So we'll start right off. First, we have a question from Jennifer. I think this was for you, Courtney, in regards to rearranging the library. They ask, is this only academic materials?
That's a bit of a tricky question to answer. So yes, it is primarily academic materials that we hold in our library. We do have some manipulatives that we use for our education program. And of course, we do have an extensive DVD and CD collection. We have a large music program here, so we have a lot of scores and things like that as well. So when I say we moved everything in the library, that includes everything that the library owned, all of our physical materials. When it came to using the title matching fast list, that was, I believe, almost exclusively academic materials that are on those lists.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Okay, I think we have a question for Joanna. One from Eve that says, what criteria does ProQuest use to identify DEI materials? Content, subject, publisher, author, awards, etc.
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. And I'm glad that it's asked. So we do a variety of things. As you know, the metadata is just so limited that we have with books, and it is extremely difficult to even identify what is a DEI title. What makes it up? Why would you select something like that? So within our criteria, we are looking at a variety of different fields that we do have access to, which are including, some subject column headers in there. We're also looking at working with our DEI advisory group as well to really help us identify and scope what makes up a DEI title. We have a whole list of methodology of what would make this a title and classify it as DEI. So I'm happy to take that question and kind of expand on it later on, because I'm only grazing the surface as to what we look into, but we do look at all different types of topics within that metadata that we have.
Great, thank you. Okay, another question here for Courtney from Pamela, who says, did you use any criteria to replace your print titles to ebooks? The comment, surely not all the books would have continuing value.
That's true. Yes, we did. So in 2017, we started a deselection process on our physical collection. And at that time, we set up a list of criteria that we used for books that would be removed from our collection. So we used the title matching fast list and those deselection lists. And I matched those together so that items that appeared, print items that appeared on our deselection list that were also on the title match fast list did not get purchased. So no, we did not purchase things that didn't meet those criteria. It was based on things like publication date and circulation numbers and uniqueness of our holdings and things like that.
Okay, got it. Okay, let's see. Maybe we'll jump back over to Joanna. We have a question. What does the subscription include? TMF and eNow?
Yeah, I saw that question too. I'm going to try to elaborate. So I think that I think this is how I'm interpreting this question. So if I get it wrong, please type it back into chat and I'll re-answer it. But I think what you're asking, so when we get your holdings, we look at what matches in E. We identify on that report whether or not that's included in a subscription. So like Courtney had mentioned, you can avoid purchasing duplicates. So if you are already a subscriber to Academic Complete, we're going to call out those titles to say you may not want to purchase those outright since you have access to them through your subscription. Well, some of our customers are finding, wow, I'm seeing a lot of these titles tagged under Academic Complete, or maybe they're tagged under the DEI ebook subscription, and they're not subscribing. So they're going, well, to purchase these titles outright would be thousands of dollars. It's cheaper for my institution to actually subscribe to them rather than to purchase them outright. So I don't know if I've answered that correctly, but that is one of the ways subscription is really playing a key role in our title matching reports.
Okay, thank you. Okay, another question for Courtney from Camille, who says, how have humanities faculty reacted to the move to all ebook purchases?
So we haven't moved to exclusively ebook purchasing. We call it our e-preferred model, which means that unless the faculty member or the requester specifies print, we will purchase an ebook where it's available. And of course, we are not at 100% ebook availability at the moment. So there are things that we purchase in print. And we do have, particularly our English faculty, specify for us that they want things purchased in print. So we do let the faculty choose, but they do have to remember to tell us if they want it in print. Overall, we were very clear when we communicated with them back in September of 2015 when we moved to this model, and it's worked pretty well for us. I have not been made aware of any major complaints from faculty about it, and generally they seem to understand that the books are more accessible to more people if they are ebooks, particularly after COVID and 2020 moving online so quickly for everybody.
Great, thank you. Okay, another question probably for Joanna from John. Are there options for audiobooks or an audiobook platform?
Yeah, that's a good question. At this time, Ebook Central does not support audiobooks. But there is a really great way to get involved and to make changes into Ebook Central, and that's by visiting our idea exchange. So I am advocating for John. If you'd like to make an impact, I really encourage you to please visit our idea exchange, post that you think this would be a great value, and then we actually ask your other colleagues to vote on that, and this is how we influence change across our products.
Great. Okay, let's see, another one. Let's see, we have one from Christine who says, are the materials in the ProQuest collection suitable for vocationally oriented community college libraries?
I want to read that one too. Are the materials in process? Okay. Christine, yes. So these titles in all of our, I'm pretty sure when you say collections, you're meaning subscriptions. In our subscriptions, they're vetted, they're scholarly. So there's going to be a lot of crossover across all disciplines, so in interdisciplinary as well. So we can help you make those decisions. So if you reach out to us, we can team you up with your book specialist. What we'll do is really say, okay, what are you trying to do? What areas are you really trying to get access to? And we have a subscription that can help you.
Great. I think we have another one for Courtney from Ebony, who says, did you have any concerns in moving to digital or face challenges with resources that only allowed for single user access?
So this is something that we have run into particularly. We didn't have any major concerns about moving to digital, and we do try to purchase. We start off with a single user license for the ebooks that we do purchase. And then if we keep an eye on our turnaway reports. So if we start to see lots of turnaways on a particular title, we will either upgrade it to a 3-user or unlimited user license as we're able to. If we're not able to do that, then we do purchase multiple copies of an ebook to try to make it available to as many users as possible. We have been working with our faculty to let them know that we can upgrade titles. If they let us know in advance, then their students don't run into those kinds of issues as frequently. So they are getting a little bit better about asking us if particular titles can be upgraded sort of before their semester begins and that sort of thing. So we have had a few challenges, but generally we're able to purchase additional licenses to cover those challenges for single user titles in particular.
Great. Okay, I think we have a sort of related question from Duncan, who says, what licensing are you using for ebook purchases, metered, per perpetuity, or something else? And maybe
so
go ahead.
Yeah. As I mentioned, we do so when we do purchase ebooks, we do try to do the one user access license if that's available, and then we upgrade from there. We do not do the metered licenses. There's just too much tracking involved for us for that. We're too small to keep track of those titles that might expire or things like that. So we do prefer the one user license wherever it's available. And then our next preference would be the unlimited access if that's possible as well.
Okay, great. Let's see. Okay, we have a question here for Joanna from lenoir that says, is the TMF service available for Alma users only? Can Sierra users also use this service?
Oh, thanks for that question, Lenore. So let me make it clear. Alma, it is available for all customers. So whether you're a public library, community college, academic library, a corporate library, as long as you're a library, you can use this service and it's free. So I'm going to start with that. Where Alma comes in, Alma, if you're an Alma customer, it actually is just a little bit more convenient for you because you simply just have to give us permission and we can access your holdings. Or some Alma customers choose, nah, I don't want to do that. I would still rather export and give you a list of ISBNs. So very technically, all we need to get started on a title matching report is a list of ISBNs. If you're an Alma customer, yes, you could give us permissions and we could do it that way. So it just kind of saves you a step if you're an Alma customer.
great. Let's see. I do have a question here from Chris, who says, in regard to subscription versus purchase, if a title is removed from subscription, wouldn't that make it better to purchase even if it costs more? So maybe
that's a good
talking
question.
about that.
Yeah, and I don't know that Courtney did her title matching at the end of the year. So so for our subscriptions, if sort of those customers that have them or don't, we do a biannual removal. So we know sometimes publishers pull out of our subscriptions for a variety of reasons. And when that happens, one thing we do uniquely is that we try to pair up these removals twice a year. So in June and December, when Ebook Central's usage is the lowest. So we're trying to really do the least amount of disruptive activity for our users. If you do a title matching report, like now-ish, when the titles removal program that's coming out, we're going to say, hey, these are being removed out of your subscription in December. We do indicate that. And our title removal sometimes has a discount involved too. So you could still get a lower price on a title by doing a title match, because it is going to track to say, hey, guess what? Here's a title that matched in your holdings. You do own it, but it's available for a 10% discount because it's being removed in December. So we are flagging that title there for you as well on that report to help you make those decisions. But Chris, I think that you are right. If a title is being removed and your title has usage, yes, I do agree with you. Regardless if it was on sale or not, you probably would want to purchase that title outright, so you own it, and your users can still continuously use that moving forward.
And Joanna, I think we've usually done our lists in April, so just before probably the cutoff for some of those. But we are subscribers as well, so we do get those lists twice a year in June and January, and we do make a couple of purchases usually based on the usage of those titles, because we get the usage report with those too. So I don't think we have run across any titles in our title match fast reports that have been on their way out of the academic complete subscription. That's not something that I have noticed, but it's nice to know that y'all do flag those.
Yeah,
if they're sort of on the way out of that subscription.
Thanks for chiming in with that, Courtney. Yeah, we do flag them if you do them around this time of year.
Okay, great. Let's see, I know you touched on this earlier, Courtney, especially with interacting with humanities professors, but I was wondering if you could talk about like overall the campus feedback and response, students and faculty to this move.
So yeah, I mean, we this is something sort of Joanna and I chatted about when we were prepping for this presentation. We haven't actually done a comparison of our usage information between print and electronic books to see if there's stronger usage of electronic books now that we've moved to e-preferred. That is something I would be interested in finding out, but unfortunately it's not something I've had time to look into. As far as just general feedback, I think because we are letting the faculty decide if it's in print or e, that has helped with them not feeling like we've sort of unilaterally made a decision on their behalf. And I do have quite a few faculty who don't express a strong preference, and so they don't mind that we purchase ebooks, or I do have some faculty who do request ebooks specifically too. So, and those are from a variety of disciplines. And we do have some disciplines that don't request very many books at all, but they are heavy users of our e-resources in other ways. So they're using journals or our databases and things like that. So I think overall we have seen more of a shift, especially over the last probably 2 or 3 years, to using more e-resources than print sources for some departments in particular.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, this is like a clarification question from Pamela for Joanna. So you can do both, purchase individual titles and or have subscriptions to larger packages of titles?
Yeah, so Pamela, I'm going to make sure I answer your question right. If not, again, let me know. So yeah, so on your title matching report, you can purchase titles outright. So you're going to say, I want to purchase these 10 titles, and we'll get those 10 titles purchased. You could also identify, hey, I noticed on my report that you matched, I don't know, 100 titles to academic complete. You may decide, well, it makes sense then for me, I don't want to purchase all 100 of those titles, but I would rather than just subscribe to all of academic complete. So in those cases, the title matching report, you're just using that as your foundational stone to go, yes, this academic complete is going to be a really good fit for my library. And then you could subscribe then to academic complete. You'll do that with your book specialist, but we'll help walk you through that. The other portion of that, if this is your other question, is let's say you are an academic complete subscriber or any of our subscriptions, and you see, oh, I already own this as in my subscription. Well, you still may decide maybe your library really prefers ownership over access. Yes, then you could still purchase that title outright, even though you subscribe to it. You could still do that on your TMF report as well.
Okay, great. Let's see, a few more minutes. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to send them in through the Q&A. I think we have a question, just like a broad for probably Joanna, where can I sign up for a title matching report?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So, like Courtney mentioned, if you're like, oh, I don't have time for the end of the year, we do turn these around rather quickly. So, and you can take that and really use this into even next year if you're doing any big projects. What you're seeing on your screen now, use that link. We have a form at the bottom. You can fill out that form. What that does is just put you in touch with your book specialist. Your book specialist will do this with you and help get you this TMF report, and they'll be in touch with you the whole way. So don't be overwhelmed. It's actually a pretty smooth and easy process.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, looks like we got another question for Courtney. Two questions from Esther Burgess. One, how do you manage OER, open educational resources? And two, for equity, diversity, and inclusion, how do you conduct collection development to promote DEI? Example, through the budgets, listing, selection, etc.
So these are two issues that we are grappling with this year. Actually, they are in our strategic plan for this year. So currently, we don't have very many open educational resources that are being used, at least not that the library is aware of, on our campus. So we do have some open access journals and things like that that are activated in our Alma and Primo instances. So users are able to find resources that way. We also have some open access ebooks that we have activated as well. And so our hope is to really explore adding further open access resources to our Alma and Primo options and track the usage of those. And also we're hoping to really start to educate the faculty on OER resources and their availability and their suitability for some of the courses that we have here on campus. And then for the equity, diversity and inclusion collection development question, as I said, that's something that we're also hoping to grapple with this year. We do have a small line in our budget set aside specifically for DEI related materials, and those are found by our subject liaisons in their subject areas. So they're looking for a variety of things, whether it's authors who fit DEI criteria or materials about teaching using DEI materials, that sort of thing. We are primarily a teaching institution and not a research-based institution here at Belmont. So scholarship of teaching and learning is a big thing here for our faculty and something that we try very hard to support. So that's why we would be looking for DEI materials related to, pedagogy and that sort of thing. And so that is something that we're going to try to expand this year as well, is to do a better job of collecting more diverse materials based on a variety of criteria.
Great. Oh, okay. We have a follow-up question on that for OER. Okay. With the OER open access that you do have, how do you incorporate fair use re-copyright? That's a tough one.
That is a very tough question, and I'm not sure exactly. I'm not sure exactly what that question means, actually, unfortunately. So for the open access materials that we do provide access to, they are all sort of officially open access. It's things like the open access journals project and things like that. So it is going to be sort of official open access materials. We do work with our faculty on fair use questions and copyright questions about whether or not they can use chapters from books that are copyrighted with, in their in the learning management system or in their courses, and how to do that and stay within copyright and that sort of thing. So we have, I am not the expert on copyright here. We do have another liaison librarian, that sort of thing. So for the open access resources that we do have, we don't have an e-reserve system. I see there's a follow-up question in the Q&A to this, asking about the use of the resources printing and e-reserves and things. So we don't currently have a true e-reserve system. Faculty are able to link to things through their LMS, but we don't have a true e-reserve system. And then as far as printing, I mean, students are allowed to print things on campus, but we don't necessarily do it for them. There are things done through the bookstore that are course packets and things like that, but those are done through the bookstore because they are considered more textbook type resources. And so the bookstore takes care of the copyright clearance questions for those. So hopefully that answers the question, at least somewhat. I'm going to put my email address in the chat so that if other people have questions, or if Dr. Burgess would like to follow up with me a little bit further, that can happen as well.
Great, thank you. See, a question that I can answer from Arlene. Will the recording be shareable? Yes, we did record today's session and we'll post it on Choice's YouTube page, and everyone who registered should receive a link to the YouTube link. And also Joanna and Courtney are going to let us have the slides, so we'll be posting those on the registration page, so everyone will be able to access those and download them to use them. Okay, no, we have a few minutes left. If anyone has any questions, please put them into the Q&A. But I'll just remind folks that we did record the session, and we do have, I know Lynette put in a survey through ProQuest, and we also have a survey through Choice. It should pop up, so if you could fill that out, we'd really appreciate it. Your comments help us improve our presentations. Let's see. I think that's all the questions we have so far. If anyone has any closing comments. I think we have one more slide. There we go, with contact information.
Yes, of course. If anybody has any questions for me regarding anything you heard from ProQuest, I am happy to help. I provided my personal email address here, so I am happy to get you to the right team to make sure it gets you some answers. And of course, we put a link in there as well. If you'd like to go and fill out to get that title matching report, you can do that right there.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think we're good to go. So thanks everyone for joining us today, and thanks for your wonderful questions. And thank you to Joanna and Courtney for your great presentations. It was super informative and helpful for our audience. So thanks again.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Have a great day.